Hey everyone, I'm the Undershirt Man. Today, I'm going over a specific movement technique used in Splatoon 2, called the Sub Strafe or Sub Strafe. My goal is to provide information that will be useful to players of all skill levels and to help better incorporate this technique into gameplay when most appropriate. Please enjoy the video. Sub Strafing is an advanced movement technique that allows you to quickly change the direction your Inkling or Octoling is moving in. This is opposed to the regular movement of swimming back and forth, which has quite a slow turnaround speed in comparison. Here's a side-by-side look. Before we continue, be aware that all of the button controls discussed in this video assume you're using the default button mapping layout for Joy-Cons or a Pro controller. To begin a Sub Strafe, start in the ink by holding down the back left trigger, ZL, and choose a direction to move with the left stick. Next, while holding ZL and moving in your preferred direction, press the right trigger, R, to cut your momentum and rise out of the ink. Now, while holding R, very quickly release and repress ZL to go back into the ink while also moving your left stick in a different direction. If done correctly, you should now be moving in another direction at full speed almost instantly. After your first Sub Strafe, you can keep R held down to easily perform more Sub Strafes without as much effort. If R is held for any remaining Sub Strafes, all you have to do is release and repress ZL and switch the direction of your left stick each time. This can be done as many times in a row as you want. When you're done Sub Strafing, release R, but only when you're in squid or octopus form. Otherwise, you'll attempt to throw your sub-weapon, slightly slowing you down and possibly wasting a lot of ink. Here's what Sub Strafing should look like when properly executed. Sub Strafing is a versatile tool that's available anytime you can use the R button. This means that any regular weapon and any sub-weapon can be used to perform this technique. However, only certain specials allow you to Sub Strafe while they're active. Those specials being any bomb launcher, Ink Armor, Ink Storm, Bubble Blower, and Ultra Stamp. Additionally, you are able to Sub Strafe even when you have a low or empty ink tank, which can be quite useful in some tight situations. As a side note, unfortunately, you're unable to Sub Strafe when carrying the Rainmaker since you can't use your sub-weapon. However, Rainmaker strafing is possible by briefly charging a shot and then cancelling it by quickly going back into the ink. There's no shortage of opportunities for when to Sub Strafe. Sub Strafing is particularly helpful when making tight jumps, quickly turning corners, avoiding or baiting an enemy's shots, surviving against special weapons, running eggs in Salmon Run, and even when collecting clams in Clam Blitz. Speaking of Clam Blitz, you can actually use the A or L button instead of R to perform a Sub Strafe at any time during a Clam Blitz match. Similar to being low on ink, this also works even if you aren't holding on to any clams. Each weapon benefits to a different degree from Sub Strafing. Most shooters or weapons with minimal end lag after shooting can also Splat Dash, a similar technique where a main weapon is used to cancel momentum rather than a sub-weapon. For weapons with minimal end lag, Sub Strafing typically only saves a few frames in comparison to Splat Dashing. However, weapons like blasters, rollers, and exploshers benefit greatly from Sub Strafing due to the significant end lag after being used. Sub Strafing does not always pair well with the Ninja Squid ability. Remaining well hidden while swimming in the ink is Ninja Squid's main draw, but Sub Strafing exposes your position. Additionally, players with predictable Sub Strafing and movement patterns will not benefit much from Ninja Squid. This is thanks to its side effect of reducing swim speed, making predictable movements even easier to punish. However, with enough practice, Ninja Squid can be used alongside Sub Strafing to better gain the advantage against opponents. Sub Strafing is a trade-off just like every other action taken throughout a match. If you're Sub Strafing, just keep in mind that you could be gaining map control, working towards a special weapon, or shooting at an enemy to help a teammate instead. Every second matters in a match, especially at higher level play. Learning to Sub Strafe at the most opportune moments that will give you the upper hand in an engagement is the key to its proper usage. Simply attempting to Sub Strafe frantically in the hopes that you will outmaneuver or confuse an opponent is not reliable. Most importantly, Sub Strafing is an alternative movement option to using other techniques, not a replacement. The value Sub Strafing provides as a mix-up tool is immense. The ability to move in an unpredictable fashion is what makes Sub Strafing so unique and useful, especially when paired together with other movement techniques like splat dashing. However, rather than teach yourself to repeatedly substrafe and inevitably develop bad habits, instead determine when and where substrafing best fits into your gameplay style. Are you interested in talking more about substrafing or any other topics with even more Splatoon players and don't know where to look? Consider going to the following competitive discussion outlets. The Inkademy Discord server is a great place to start if you are newer to Splatoon 2 or the competitive scene and want to ease your way into the community. The large amount of members means you will always have someone to discuss any Splatoon related information with. There will be a link to join the server down in the description. That SRB2 dude is a YouTube content creator that has been around since the beginning of Splatoon 1, and he has great videos featuring high-level play, tutorials, how to join the competitive scene, and much more. The videos for the substrafing tutorial and joining the competitive scene will be linked in the description. ProChara is a top-level Splatoon 2 player that has recently started producing regular YouTube content about competitive Splatoon. If you are interested in weapon guides, tier lists, metagame discussions, and tournament highlights, then go check the link in the description to head to his channel. Kiver is also a top-level Splatoon 2 player that has lots of experience going against some of the toughest teams in Splatoon history. His channel is home to videos such as the Road to Top 500 X-Rank series, tournament highlights, game patch analyses, and tips and tricks for different maps and modes. You can find the link to his YouTube channel down in the description. As for any seasoned Splatoon 2 players, be sure to leave a comment about any of the other competitive discussion outlets out there that you recommend joining. The more people we help usher into the competitive scene now, the easier it will be to grow the scene once Splatoon 3 is here, making its release that much more successful. Thank you for watching the first video on my channel. Hopefully you found everything in this video helpful and informative. If so, consider giving the video a like, leaving a comment about which substrafing tip discussed is the most meaningful to you, and subscribing if you are interested in seeing more content like this in the future. See you next time!